Hi viewers, we are going to learn the story of two stories about flying. Second being Black Aeroplane. Black Aeroplane is written by Frederick Forsyth. He is a British author and an occasional political commentator. He was a famous British writer. In this story, the narrator was flying his aeroplane at night over France to England. There was a sudden storm. The narrator was obviously panicked and confused because the compass stopped working, and suddenly the narrator saw a black aeroplane without lights on its wings. The pilot followed the black aeroplane and landed safely. Narrator dumbfounded about the miracle. The narrator, a pilot who was flying his Dakota aeroplane over France back to England, lost his way due to storm. The woman in the control room, to whom the narrator asked about the unknown friend of the black aeroplane. The narrator of this story, Black Aeroplane, is a pilot who elaborates on his misjudgment and how he creates problems. In the lesson, the pilot is flying from Paris to London and dreams about the holiday with his family. He is flying over a city and thinks about the tasty breakfast after landing. After crossing Paris, he gets a look of the dark clouds signifying the upcoming storm. For the sake of safety, he should turn back to Paris, but he decided otherwise. To fulfill his dream of a holiday, he risks the life of passengers and heads the plane into the storm. Everything gets dark and all the instruments stopped working. He lost control of the plane and the hope of their survival becomes bleak. The very less amount of fuel is left and the pilot starts panicking in this situation. Suddenly, he sees another plane flying next to him through the storm. The pilot turns his plane to the north in order to follow the strange aeroplane. The pilot starts frightening again as the fuel is getting low. The anonymous pilot guides them out of the storm and disappears. After landing, the pilot asks the other plane but is left in shock to know that there was no other plane in the sky except his. The sky was clear with shining stars and the narrator was about to meet his family for breakfast. At 1:30 in the morning, the narrator flew in his Dakota plane and he was instructed by Paris control room to run 12 degrees west. He was around 150 kilometers away from Paris. Suddenly, the cloud storm approached. He decided to enter the storm. Due to his willingness to see his family, the narrator took this risky decision, but he lost the way in the storm. All the instruments of his plane stopped working. A black aeroplane appeared by the narrator's side in the storm and he was instructed to follow the black plane. Without much fuel, he flew for half an hour and he landed safely on the runway. He went out from his aeroplane to thank the pilot of the black aeroplane, but he got surprised not to find anyone there in the aeroplane. The narrator asked the woman of control room about the black aeroplane, but she laughed and replied in negation about such a plane. It was a miracle with no explanation for the narrator which saved his life. Viewers, the value we learn from this lesson is the first part of the story teaches us that the inner strength of the person is always helpful in overcoming difficult situations, while the second part teaches us that we should not risk the lives of others to fulfill our dreams.